Welcome back to another episode of Shipping Scrapple, where we talk about new features and general remote photo tidbits that are really too tasty to just throw out. So I'm Moose, the Director of Customer Success, and today we are joined by, from the dev team, Jonathan Hoffman, and from sales, Ben Prolich. So gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in. Today, we're going to chew through the topic of the Workday integration. Since I came on, this was something that has been kind of batted around, was worked on for a long time, and it has come into fruition. We have customers that are using it. And Jonathan, you were on the development team to make this a reality. So tell us about it.
Yeah, thanks, Moose. We really appreciate you having us on here. So yeah, we're really excited to talk about our Workday integration here. This is something that we've had tons of customers asking for. An automated way to get good ID photos that are going to be on badges, also into the Workday ecosystem so that you have consistent photos across the board. And so, like I said, we've had a number of customers asking for that. And after doing a lot of research and talking to some of our Workday, our customers that use Workday, we came up with a solution to get those photos from RemotePhoto into Workday. We also have a mechanism to get users from Workday into RemotePhoto to provision that. So we can talk about that as well. But the star of the show is definitely the way that we get those photos from RemotePhoto back into Workday.
What was different about the Workday integration than our regular way of doing it?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Moose. Anytime we have customers who have specific downstream integrations that they want us to build, where there's a product in mind that they want the photos to just seamlessly work into, we need to look into some of the more technical details of it. We of course have our photo downloader that a lot of our customers use, or a lot of our customers use that to automatically download approved photos, and that works great. But that downloads them to a file system or a database by default. And so for something like this, they need something a little extra special, something that actually integrates with the downstream API, so that there's no manual work needed to take those photos once they're downloaded and upload them back into Workday. Having to do that for hundreds of employees or thousands of employees gets to be a pretty tedious process. So we want to avoid that and do it automatically. And that's how we got accepted into the Workday Partner Program and ended up building this whole thing out. And getting it onto it's even listed on the Workday Marketplace, which was very exciting.
It is, yeah. So we are a certified, at least the getting photos from RemotePhoto into Workday, that is a certified Workday integration.
That's correct. We have the design approved badge for that. There's a number of tiers of certification you can get, and so the entry level one for, I think, silver tier is the partner tier we're in right now. It's called the design approved badge. And so we have to submit a lot of documentation to Workday to show how we're responsibly integrating with their APIs and doing it in a secure manner. And then once they review that, that's how we get that badge and get that thing approved.
Yeah. So thumbnail sketch, just a moment here. Okay. So the first thing we have to do is get people into RemotePhoto, right? We have to create an account for these people. How are we able to do that through Workday?
Yeah, so the way that we can get users from Workday into RemotePhoto is just by leveraging existing functionality. So Workday, of course, human capital management is the main thing that people are doing with Workday when they want to integrate with us. And so they have processes that get people hired, hired users, move through these processes in Workday, and you're able to build out a report that collects all the new hires on a regular basis and sends them to us. And the main way we've done that is with Workday's SFTP functionality. But basically it generates that file and sends it over to us. And we ingest that and create those users, and they get welcome emails automatically that tell them that they need to submit a photo in RemotePhoto.
Yeah. All right. So then we do what we do best. We collect photos, we give the instant feedback, we get them sorted, whether approved or denied. And so we do the best we can to make photos just happen. And then they get basically downloaded. And you've already described from there, what's happening? The photos, instead of going to a downloaded folder and then being moved over, what you and the dev team have built is really just the functionality, almost like a bridge, to take them right from RemotePhoto, dump them right into Workday with a file name that Workday will recognize.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's actually a pretty simple process.
Well, this is probably the shortest episode of Shipping Scrapple we'll have then. Jonathan, did you bring us any show and tell?
I actually did. I'm glad that you asked. I was going to go ahead and give a quick demonstration of just how this works. I've got, especially for people who have some knowledge of Workday lore, they'll probably find some of this amusing. So let me share my screen and we'll talk through what this can do here. All right. So here in RemotePhoto, I'm logged into my test organization and our test instance, and I have Logan McNeil created. And for those of you who don't know the Workday lore, Logan is the primordial Workday user who exists before anyone else does, and everybody gets a Logan McNeil in their tenant. And there are some fantastic Logan McNeil memes, but this is Logan McNeil's user, and she has already submitted a photo in RemotePhoto. And so, of course, one of our advantages in RemotePhoto is we have the ability to automatically approve and deny photos. In this case, though, I just have a pending photo because I kind of wanted to show the process of approving it and seeing it show up. I'm also logged into our partner tenant here. And if we look for Logan McNeil, there she is. Actually, it's a photo of me. So I wanted you to be able to see the photo change so you know that I didn't fake this. People fake demonstrations sometimes. So I'll go ahead and approve this. So we've got an approved photo. Go ahead and give it a minute or so. I'm going to look on my other side and look at the logs and make sure that comes over. And if we go here and refresh Logan McNeil, you see Logan McNeil now has a new photo that was automatically imported in there with our integration into Workday. So pretty seamless, and it's really fast. We have it built that it's as close to real time as possible with the way that the notifications work from once it's approved to the photo actually being uploaded is pretty quick.
That is sharp. That is really sharp and, simple. Jonathan, that's what, one of the things you were talking about earlier is, person to person, we want to care, but we just want to make it simple. And the way you make it simple is make it agnostic. It doesn't matter where they're coming from, but you guys have built a really phenomenal integration. So, Ben, from the sales side, what are you hearing about the need for Workday now that we've got an integration? When people say, hey, do you guys work with Workday? What are you hearing?
Yeah, I was trying to think of an analogy that kind of puts into words what people think when they, when they first come to RemotePhoto. It's like somebody who wants, they're trying to solve the problem of shopping in a grocery store, and they want somebody to go and shop for them. They give them their list, saves them tons of time. But then if that person just were to bring the bags out of the store and you're actually at home and that all those groceries are now sitting outside the store, what good is that, right? And so, we have different ways of getting those photos delivered. But this one is just great because these, a lot of our customers, they've spent a lot of money, a lot of time integrating and implementing these solutions like Workday, these, other HCM systems, right? And that's their source of truth, and they want everything to end up in there. I actually heard today from a prospective client that with an integration like this, it is so much easier to sell it internally as they're trying to get budget approval. They're trying to get buy-in from HR. Maybe they're on the security side of things. So there's just a lot of benefit for, not just HR teams, but folks in the security side and beyond to have an integration like this.
Jonathan, anything else, any tips or tricks, any caveats for someone who is looking to use this Workday integration? Anything that we need to just maybe even warn them about, like, hey, this is perfect. This is perfect unless you .
That's a good question, Moose. Yeah, I don't know that there's any caveats that we need to
Okay.
talk through. There was something else that I did want to mention, though. One of the things that our dev team really is trying to take ownership of is just building processes that are easy and reliable and just work. And a big part of that is actually the implementation process of something like this. You know, it's, of course, you can build integrations with tons of different things and build it in a way that it's really difficult to set up, right? You know, the last thing we want to do is create something that, you know, maybe has value at the end of the road, but you've got to, you know, got to hike the Appalachian Trail to get there. So
Sure.
We don't want to do that. And so we've done a lot of work to try to build something that is easy. We want easy. And so I was going to just quickly show one more thing, if you don't mind me taking the screen share one more time.
Ahead. Yeah.
And just kind of talking through some of the documentation we have on this. So especially, you know, if you're a potential remote photo customer, or maybe just a fan of remote photo, and you're hoping to try to pitch this internally to some other stakeholders, I just wanted to direct you to a couple things we have here. We've got our help documents, help.remotephoto.ai. We've got a little bit of a blurb here. This kind of works in conjunction with the marketplace listing, which you can get to here. But we also have well-documented implementation setup right here. And this just kind of works you through, it works you through how you set this up. And, you know, of course, we have a really skilled support engineer team that would get on a call with one of your Workday admins and help get this configured. But this is the sort of thing, you know, you give us 30 minutes, an hour of your time, and we should have this set up and ready to go. We can set it up in your sandbox Workday tenant first, move it over to production. It's an easy process. We like to keep it pretty straightforward, and we do it in a really secure manner that we're actually quite proud of.
Yeah. So while you're touching on that, the integration right now, if a customer has, we have two separate tools. We have the importer, we have the downloader. We have this Workday integration. Would that be, you know, one meeting for provisioning, one meeting for downloading, or is that something that can be done all at one time, or does it depend on kind of the tolerance for time from the customer?
Yeah, I would say as we're doing more of these, we're getting better and better at supporting it. It's possible to do it all on the same call. You know, something we kind of mentioned earlier, not every customer has to use Workday to provision users in. Even if they're using our integration to download the photos back into Workday, assuming they are going to want to be exporting new hires from Workday and downloading the photos back in, we could certainly do that all in the same call. It'll take a little bit longer, but it's not a really taxing process to do. Okay.
Yeah, that's super helpful. You know, the more we're talking about this, I joked around before we even started, like, you just muddied my waters, but the silt is settling. I'm getting better. You've been super helpful with that.
Well, you know, Moose, when they're mining for gold, you got to muddy the waters a little bit to get the silt out and find the real nuggets. So
you're right. You're right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this. This is, you know, one of the things I really appreciate is the opportunity to bring dev and sales together, talk about the integration, talk about the customers, how we really are trying to help people. At the end of the day, yes, we're better than anybody else at collecting the photo, but one of the things we also like to think we're doing well is bringing value, and doing that on the dev side and then communicating from the sales side what we're doing to continue to improve our product. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It's always fun. Jonathan, we'll have to have you back again. Ben, you've been a frequent guest already, so let's get together and do this again sometime.
Sounds like a plan.
Thanks, Moose.
All right. Thank you, guys.